Hi, everybody. I don't know about you, but I miss my friends. I miss my friends so much that I've decided to enter into your lives through your television screen, or let's be honest, your phone screen, and interrupt you, insult you, tell stories about you, of course, anonymously, but ultimately, I just want to be with y'all when I can't be with y'all. And when you want to be with me, I'm on demand. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my new podcast. I have no name for it yet, but it's going to be a whirlwind of fun times, stupid ideas, and you know what? Obviously, just going to be me. So, without further ado, let's do this. I don't know about you guys, but I got some things to say. I've got a lot of things. Actually, I have very little to say, only because the words that I do say have not really come to mind. I haven't put pen to paper on this, but what I do know is I miss all of you. And because of that, I'd like to go over a couple of things that never made sense to me, and I hope you guys will find a way that makes sense to them. Starting off with toaster strudels. All right. I don't know whose idea it was to one-up the Pop-Tart game / Pop-Tart industry, but someone did. Someone came through and was like, listen, what if we gave them the choice? What do you mean them? Well, no. What if we gave kids the ability to have a packet of sugar that was, not going to be safe and secure in certain ways, but more importantly, going to be messy all over, and then have them decorate and sprinkle all the sugar and shit they want on top of them? But wouldn't that cost more than a Pop-Tart? Yeah. That's the point. And as a kid growing up, I didn't recognize what was obviously healthy food and not healthy food. You only realize what you have and then what others have. Call me conceited or call me, not aware. Maybe I was a bad kid overall. But you know what? You notice these things, You grow up in a house that gives you rice and beans, and on the occasion, cow tongue and chicken gizzards. Yes, that's what we actually ate. No, it wasn't on the regular basis. But you find out that your kids at your age level have different breakfasts than you. They just don't eat cereal in the morning. They have some form of breakfast. I don't know what. Maybe it was a bagel with cream cheese. And then the mom gives them a little snack, Hey, what's in that styrofoam little box thing you have there? Oh, they're called Pop-Tarts. Have you never had a Pop-Tart? Have you never popped a tart? Quite honestly, till this day, I still have yet to pop my tart. Giggity. But this is the kind of food that I never really had growing up. Did we have on-demand snacks? Did we have, goldfish? Did we have Gushers? Did we have X, Y, and Z of all these other food categories that we had? No, we didn't have that in my house. But all of my friends did. And that's the kind of that really dawned on me. I was like, wow, they have that on demand? I didn't even know that was possible. Wait, you guys have a snack closet? I didn't even know that was possible. And so, I'd like to thank my parents now. I don't have a good relationship with snacks. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have a good relationship with snacks at all. If you say, oh, Edison, we bought a packet of, 10 gummy Gushers. By the time you're done saying, hey, can you put it in the cupboard over there? I've already eaten 5 of them, halfway through number 6 and said, oh, did you mean to save this for later? I just eat your snacks. I go into your household and I eat your food. If you invite me into your household, I'm going to eat your food. And that's okay. Because in one way or another, you buy these things and then you just leave them there. And then they collect dust. And then after a while, you start, digging through the drawer. And then you find out, wow, I bought these snacks and now they're expired. Oh, no, I lost money. No, you didn't lose money, all right? You didn't lose money at all. You only lost money if you didn't invite me over and actually gave me them, Edison, do you want a ring pop that's expired? Do I ever? But regardless, back to the main topic on hand. Toaster strudels. If you wanted to flex as a kid, you had a toaster strudel. And then more importantly, if you wanted to be stupid as a kid, toaster strudel was not the optimal breakfast. Toaster strudel was kind of like something you have in the morning, like like very posh style of it. You had the little cinnamon packet warmed up, you had your toast strudel right out of the toaster oven ready to go for you. And if you ever brought it to school, that's where you up. That's where you up. That's where you up, because by the time you got to school, it was no longer warm. By the time you got to school, it was basically like a stale Pop-Tart, but hey, you cooked it this morning, so you kind of have to eat it. Pop-Tarts may have the consistency of being good, whether they are popped or not in the toaster. But toast strudel is a lot like apple strudel. You gotta have it right then and there when it's nice, fresh, and hot. And you know what? Throw in a side of ice cream too, because that dessert deserves it. Toaster strudel. How did we not think of any dirty ways to go about that? What? Really think about it. You're like, how come we didn't know back then as kids that, oh, hey, take this liquid bag of white and then just drizzle it all over your. It's only now that my perverted self and my stupidity mind and probably my adolescent behavior realizes that, hey, this kind of dirty. As for the guys, shame on you. You shouldn't be thinking like that. No, shame on you, gentlemen. We should not be thinking like that at all. On the female equivalent side, please, by all means necessary, take us by the hand and ask us to be our toaster strudel. Theirs, ours, yours. Kind of close enough. That really doesn't make any sense. We'll probably cut that out in post. But enough about food. It's now time to talk about your finances. Yes, that's right, your finances. The finances that you're supposed to keep private. The finances that you don't want to admit to me. But you know what? In one way or another, I squeeze it out of you. And believe it or not, guys, 9 times out of 10, you're actually doing better than me. But for real, I'd like to take this time to just remind everyone that maybe buying a house right now is not a good idea. That's my opinion. And of course, my opinion holds no weight. Why? Because I'm not a freelancer. I'm not someone who looks at the market or the housing market and actually can tell you, by far what's going on here and what's going on with these situations. No, I just know what I see. And what I see right now is that the prices of these houses are too damn high. Now, granted, maybe you are ready to buy a house. Maybe Edison you're completely wrong. My finances are so great. I'm making so much more money than you. I've got so much saved in the bank. You can't tell me. You know what? You're right. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is probably the safe way about going about the house. I'm not going to tell you what loan to get. I'm not going to tell you how to go about these things. I'm just going to tell you what I know that seems like a big red flag to me. And so with that said, we will enter into Edison's big red flags. Number 1, unfortunately, you need to have 20% of that house. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you you don't need 20%. You need the minimum of 3.5. They're not wrong. And a lot of people are going to tell you that compared to the loan that you buy, it's almost inconsequential. And they're also not wrong. What I know, though, is you want to pay for the house value and nothing else. That way, when the monthly bill comes in, you know that you are paying down your house, and more importantly, that you are paying the interest for that house. And that is it. PMI, private mortgage insurance, basically tells people, hey, depending on your credit score, we're going to add a monthly fee to your bill so that way we cover our asses before we give you any reign over the house. And you know what? Rightfully so. Some guy decided, hey, the only way you're not going to pay insurance on our end, FYI, the lender's end, is if you pay down 20%. Arbitrary number, it sounds like it to me, but at the same time, they've got a point. I've learned that everyone has to protect their neck one way or another. And what I wholeheartedly see is that the people who do try to protect their neck one way or another are littered down with words and paragraphs and pages and, dear Lord Almighty, contracts as well. That scares me. But what doesn't scare me is understanding that if I'm going to buy a house, I'm only going to pay for the house. So remember, guys, if you have 20% for the house, gun ho. You go for it, kid. You go for it. And I think that's the best way to do it. This is coming from someone who hasn't bought a house. What? This is coming from someone who doesn't have experience in buying a house or even know someone of my friends who are even, in the mortgage loan industry business. But what I do know is you don't want to get no one wants to see their friends get and because of that brings me to point number 2. Your monthly payment shall not be more than 25% of your household income. All right, let's rewind that back. Your monthly payment shall not be more than 25% of your household income. Congratulations if you make $100,000. Beautiful, great, I love it. Continue to be successful. The reality of the situation is taxes are a motherfucker. And you're not really bringing home $100,000 after taxes, after you do your 401k savings and everything else, deductions, you're pretty much bringing home $65K, maybe $60K, hopefully. Of that $60K per year, divide that per 12. Divide that by 12. And that should be a number that I should know right off the top of my head. It seems like it's $5,000. Yeah, $5,000. Yeah, so $5,000 a month. 25% of that $5,000 is how much your monthly payment should be. That's bullshit, Edison. I can pay as much as I want to. It's impossible for me to only have it at 25%. What the do you know? Buddy, I know what it's like to drown. And I know what it's like to also away my money on a loan that should have never existed in the first place, but here we are. So, as a word of caution to everyone, 25% may seem unfair as a monthly payment, considering that maybe you can't buy enough house of 25%. 25% may seem to be heinous when you make that much money and more. But I like to think that if we approach these things conservatively in a way, if we approach these manners with some forethought, we are placed into a better position than if we don't. The last thing I want to see you guys do is drown yourself over something that should bring you joy. Mortgage payments are $1.50. I agree, but they don't have to be the biggest. That's a pretty big to deal with. And finally, of course, my third take on buying a house situation, take a 15-year. I understand. I get it. 15 years to pay off a house is a lot. And even if you do the math out, wherever how much you're making right now, 15-year mortgage doesn't even give you the payment to actually have a nice home. You're basically regulated to a hovel in the ground, and that's it. And you know what, man? It sucks. I wouldn't even take my advice of doing a 15-year, and instead I'd probably take out a 30. Now, granted that it's an ideal situation that I'd like to take a 15-year loan out. It's an ideal situation that I'd really like to have only 15 years to pay off a mortgage. But let's be honest, when the wife comes into the picture and you guys want to have a family, that 30-year mortgage gives you space, gives you more time, and then boom, that's it. You're ready to go. Maybe it's the third rule that isn't that much, but what I do know is we are going into an investment, and you're taking money out on a loan for an investment, whether it be one that you're going to hold on forever or one that you're going to, stick around for 5 years or so. Remember the principle of the matter, all right? You're taking money out that you don't have, that you will be paying extra on an investment, which may or may not prove to be profitable. So with that said, out of all of my 3 options that I've given off, I only ask one thing. Please just be careful. Please just be careful and don't rush into things. I do want you to buy a house. I want you to have your privacy. I want you to have that white picket fence and that golden retriever and that apple pie in the window. But the last thing I want is for you to have a nice house and a fence that can't be paid for and an apple strudel in the window. Squirt some on that while you're at it. Well, I'll tell you this right now, guys. I'm not a good party guest. I'm not even a good dinner guest. You probably turned off the whole entire podcast by the end of this show. Who the am I to talk about this when I'm talking about toaster strudels? All right? With that said, my name is Edison, and I miss you guys so very much. So please be safe. Test negative. And while you're at it, save for retirement. Okay, that's a terrible send-off. I miss you guys. I want to talk with you guys. You disagree with me? I want to talk about it. You agree with me? I'll talk about it. You want to buy me a beer? Let me buy you one first. Until next week, guys. Bye.